I guess I might as well start a series now of painting armies, since it's pretty much what I do for work all the time. In this one, we're gonna tackle this Maggotkin of Nurgle army. It's pretty sweet. A lot of the new models are in here. Some of these are just beautiful sculpts, and I was excited to get this. We also have this huge Nurgle that's 3D printed. I think he got it off of Etsy, but this thing's sick. So let's jump into it, and let's talk about how we're gonna do this. So my pre-planning here is I wanted to do a kind of green tone across the entire army, and I really wanted to use a type of painting style that I've seen a few artists use, mainly Marco Frazzoni. He's done this in a few of his videos, and I've kind of adapted my own style off of a lot of things that he does, especially in the pre-process, where we do various layers of color working up to a light source, and then we filter down with oil. I really do like this for especially these kind of models, which are supposed to be kind of dirty and grimy and corrupted. I think it works really well for these models, because the oil, you can kind of go crazy with it, especially with the darker tones, and it comes off as messy, which is good, is what we want with Nurgle. I'm gonna put some bits on the bases, some bones and stuff on some of the bigger bottles, but I wanted to try out this effect that I saw on TikTok. Basically what you do is you take PVA glue and you put it down onto the base of a model in like kind of like a puddle formation and like a blob. And then you take super glue and you put dollops or droplets on top of the PVA glue, and when it dries, it's going to make this really cool effect where it looks like there's like, I don't even know what you would call it, some kind of glue crater. It looks gross. It really matches with Nurgle, and I'm going to do some other effects with this, and it's all going to come together really nicely at the end to make kind of like a pestilence bog almost, because the customer wanted a swamp feel for these bases, so I wanted to get some kind of gross water in there somehow. Along with these, this effect here, I'm going to just put some other basing materials and some grass tufts, because we make some dead grass later also. But like with all of my army painting, first step is always mixing my base coat color with my primer. So I'm going to use a brown leather, which is actually more closer to a mid-tone brown, and mix it with my black Vallejo surface primer. I'm going to cover every single model in this, and it's going to save a big step. Because when we're doing our total count is like, I don't know, it's a lot. It's like, it's over, like, it's almost 80 models for this army. Once I finish up with that coat of brown, I'm going to come in with like a turquoise-ish, light turquoise, even a cyan or cayenne, however you call it, over top, and then general zenithal. All I really want is that dark brown to be my shadow color and to be my undercoat. After my cyan, light turquoise, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to come in with my lime green mix, which is just straight lime green, and I'm going to start working this model in the places it needs to go. You can completely cover the model in this in like another coat of zenithal with a higher angle. I kind of started off trying to put it in certain areas, but then I just quickly went zenithal up top with more of a sharper angle than 45 degrees. After this is a good step to start on my skin, so I'm going to use a berry color. This one's Muddled Berry from Army Painter, but I'm going to basically cut in all of the skin that I see everywhere. And if there's a little overspray, that's fine, because our unifying tones later will be able to cover up any bad overspray. Don't go crazy here, but a little bit here and there is not a huge deal. You'll be able to mask it later without having to really cut with a brush. Now again, the airbrush here is just a tool. I use it every single day, so it's kind of like the first thing I I reach for a lot of times when I'm doing this work, especially in big batches, but you can do all this with a brush. Dry brushing for xenothols, it gives you a different texture and sometimes even a nicer texture, so it just kind of depends on the way you want and what you want it to look like. After all the skin, any open skin, any skin is covered up with that muddled berry color, I'm going to come with a pink on top. This is more of a defined shot, technically a xenothol, but we're looking for more of the curvatures of the cylinders, trying to define where light would be coming onto the muscular portions, the fat. There's a lot of grossness here that I want to highlight with this pink, and I'm just going to slowly work around with the model. It also gives us a nice soft gradient, which is going to translate really nicely later. Now that I have basically my green and my skin tone set, I'm just going to simply do a unifying color here with a mix of, it's like almost yellow-green mixed in with frost yellow. So this is more yellow than green, but this is going to be my unifying light color over the whole model. And I'm going to hit the skin, I'm going to hit everything basically with this. This is my highest point of light. This is one of the last gradient lights I'm going to do before I get my brushes out. So it's important to take your time here and make sure that we're really getting our light sources correct. And in general, if you don't really know where to pull this from, you can always just shine a light on top of your model, and that should show you where the light should go, or you can just be general and just shoot from above. Now we're going to go to the brushes. So a lot of the model will probably stay this green, but I did want to put some contrast colors on and some speed paints. So I'm going to be using Hallowed Bone, Leather Brown, Snakebite Leather, Rattling Grime, some blacks. Everything's going to go on with probably a drop of medium on it. Not a lot of colors are going on straight out of the pot. I did want to water them down, or thin them out a little bit to get the contrast that I'm looking for. But we just want to slowly work around the model, pick out a lot of the details that we don't want green or skin. You can get away with a lot of neutral tone colors, browns, beiges, that kind of stuff, because a lot of this is natural woods or leather, so they're all going to come off really nicely with the work that we did already. And because we're putting this over already gradient colors that we laid, they're going to look really nice. Now, once I'm done with a lot of those kind of bits and bobs, I want to go over all of my skin work with a mix of Purple Alchemy, which is a speed paint, and like a flesh tone wash. You can use regular flesh shade. You can use really whatever you want. You can even use like Crusader skin from speed paint if you have a whole speed paint set. But just make sure you thin this out a little bit with some medium. We don't want to we kind of want to lightly stain the work we already did. We don't really want to cover up a lot of that gradient work that we worked hard on. But it gives it a nice taint, and it's another layer of especially getting into the recesses that we do our wash later will be a perfect accent to what we're doing here. Few last bits that were not going to be speed paint. You always want to do your speed paint first, work from your lightest colors to your darkest. And now I'm onto my acrylics. They have these like interesting sponge things coming out of their heads. I don't even know what to call them, but I'm going to paint these in Autumn Sage. Kind of want them sickly, but more of a blue tone. Something a little different than kind of break up what we already have going on here with our mid browns, light browns, natural tones. Now that I have everything set besides my metallics, I'm going to come in with a white ink, and I'm going to set my final highlights. A few things. One, this is going to set the highlights on our skin and our armor, and it's going to be our final highlight before... This will be our final highlight before we wash all of these parts, but also I'm going to be using a thinner down metallic with a retardant in it, so I'm also going to be setting some light points for the metallic work that's coming up. So it can all be done in one step, and you know, depending on the way you work your metallics, this step is either needed or not needed. But here I'm going to work on my first bit of metallic. I kind of wanted a blue steel. I don't know why. I thought it would look cool. I think it does look cool. I think it actually works on the color spectrum a little bit. But what I did was I made sure that I had it thinned. So using already the Vallejo metallic range is pretty. It's a pretty viscous paint as is. That plus a little bit of retardant and also a drop of isopropyl alcohol. So this stuff just flows really nicely. It pulls away. It goes right into the recesses. One coat covers everything, and it just is great. This was a beautiful, you know, mix that I made here, and I really, really liked painting with it. It was super smooth, and it's gonna, once it dries, it will show off some of that light work that we did before. Nothing crazy. I didn't go crazy with the retardant because I did want to get a one coat coverage just because I need to get this army done, and I can't be sitting here doing multiple coats. If I had 10 models, that's different. Now I'm just gonna hit up the rest of the bits here. I picked up bronze just as a base coat. At the time I really didn't know if I wanted to do gold, but bronze is very good with a dark wash, which is what we're gonna be using. So I just kind of went with it. Eventually I think I might want to do some gold trim on here, but I think the bronze is good enough for now. To the oil step we go. So what's nice about this is we can just go kind of crazy with a dark brown all over the whole model, and you know, you lay it on thick and we're going to wipe it off later with certain spots. Certain models I'm going to let it pool because I want that dirt effect. Some models I won't. It just kind of depends on how much skin the model has. But we're going to use black brown for all the metallics, all the armor, anything that's not pink. And then I'm going to use a mix of magenta and black for all the skin. And it's really just going to start mixing together because I'm not really being that clean about it. And it works. The mixing of the two dark tones of oil wash does help the model at the end, especially when we clean it up. Once I'm done cleaning the models that I wanted to clean, everything gets a coat of matte varnish to lock everything in that I like, and then I'm going to go right to dry brushing because we got to get through these models. And I'm going to start off with just some ivory, some skeleton bones. I'm just kind of working my way through with general colors. Anything that's a cloth is going to get a bone to an ivory. The woods are all going to be a light earth mixed in, you know, going up to lighter colors. And you know, I'm just going to kind of work my way around each model, picking out the obvious things because we don't want to class these up too much. We want them to be dirty still, so we can't go crazy with bumping the highlights up too much. For the skin tone, I'm just actually going to mix in a little bit of barbarian flesh, which is like a lighter brown rose or even a salmon rose. Any of these colors work. I really don't want to take too much away from the work I already did because the skin looks great the way it is. I'm just going to hit some of the highlight areas and some of the gradients, just establish a little bit of color, but I really like the way they look. It's the sickly pink that I was looking for. Before I move on, there's a lot of boils on these models, so I did want to work on them. So I'm actually just base coating all of them in a mix of ivory and frost yellow. And we're going to follow this up with a speed paint of malignant green with a little bit of medium. So this is gonna, once it's dry, it's gonna look gross, like really gross, and that's what we're looking for. This speed paint mix is really nice, and even though the skin already is looking really nice, this is just the extra little bit that's going to be fantastic. I'm also hitting some of the eye sockets too. I don't know, I think it looks cool, and anything in those spots as well. So I did all the infantry first, as you can see, and now I gotta do the big Nurgle. So I'm gonna kind of do the same steps I did before. I base coated the whole model in a mix of like black primer and brown. I'm gonna do a light turquoise around his skin, and most of the model is gonna get this as a Zenithal. And I'm just gonna, with my big airbrush, I'm just gonna go to town. Once I'm done with the turquoise, I'm going right into lime green. Same thing, Zenithal. These are all very general Zenithals. I don't really have to worry too much about the shadows here. It's a big model. We have a lot of paint and plastic to cover, so I'm just kind of being very general, and my angles are like even more shallow than a 45. I'm coming at it horizontally in some spots too. Working the same kind of colors here. Gonna mix some frost yellow into that lime green, yellow green. Just gonna do one more Zenithal from up top, build up the highlights. We're doing very general here because we're gonna use a lot of speed paint. Before I finish off though, I did want to get some flesh tone set, so I'm gonna go back to my muddled berry, and I'm gonna just kind of focus on the belly and the face here and around the pecs. Make sure both mouths are covered. Again, general. When I'm looking back on it, I do like what I did, but I had to actually fix a little bit of it. I think I went too aggressive, so I come back with some lime green before I really fix it up completely. And before I move on to any speed paints, I'm going to do the same as I think I did before. I'm going to use basically frost yellow as a general highlight for all of my colors here on the model. Now it's off to the speed paint. Pretty much all the same colors I did before. Pallid bone, dark wood, hardened leather, wildwood, rabbit grime. I'm just going to work around the model, hit all the woods, hit any bone. I'm even going to do the same thing with the boils here of a frost yellow. Base coat all of them up. You know, a big model like this just takes time. 2 different size brushes help, you know, one medium size and maybe even a large size to just cover, but you just want to take your time, work yourself around each part of the model, make sure that, you know, we got good coverage, good staining, make sure our pooling looks good, we don't have too much of it, but it's set in the right spots. We're gonna look to oil this guy up, same colors, dark brown, dark brown, and the magenta black. Gonna go through all the things. We can make this one really dirty too at the same time. You know, it's always funny, the models look so great when you oil them a lot of times, especially because we did so much work with the airbrush before. It just looks good. It looks good when you can just finish here if you really wanted to, but obviously we're going to take it further, but it looks great. now that everything's dried and sealed, I'm just gonna work through some of my colors here, hitting some highlights. This big old model, you can just dry brush, have a nice time with it. Pretty much, pretty simple here. There's so much texture to this print that an easy dry brush will do so much work for you here. Now before I do any basing work, I gotta weather these guys some more, so I'm gonna use a mix of some pigments, black, some dark rust, light rust, earth brown. I'm just gonna keep mixing them in my palette, and I'm just going to kind of dot them around. I want to weather most of the armor, and I'm gonna stay away from the skin. Anything metallic is gonna get this kind of weathering around the model. Going to the basing here, anything that I'm going to use for this puddle that we talked about earlier, I'm going to base in this kind of gross, I don't even know what color they can call this, but I basically mixed up some browns and some beiges together to get kind of like a sickly brown looking color. I'm going to base, and I'm going to set the quote-unquote puddles for any of those spots. And then when I'm done with that, I'm going to cover them all in a green speed paint. You can use like green skin or a light green. I'm just kind of working to do some gross coloring here. Using my dry brush with some browns and some greens, working my way around the base, just kind of giving this swamp a little more color and a little more gross color, really. one of the last little things I wanted to do here was I wanted to add a bit of a water texture, but I didn't want to pour resin. So what I ended up doing was I used some Vallejo, water effect gel, and I basically used speed paints and inks to color it. And since I'm using very transparent inks and speed paints, when it dries, it won't dry in like a matte color like if you use an acrylic. So we should be able to see through of all this like work we already did, and it will basically just add a see-through gel on top that's tinted, and it actually came out pretty good. Once it's dry, you'll see. But I'm basically just gonna like puddle this around anything that I want to put like a liquid on, or if I want any kind of water effect or anything like that. I'm just gonna work myself around each model. Not everyone's gonna get it, but some will. And there you have it. These models came out great. They're gross. All the pre-work with the airbrushing really carried these models, and once I oiled them down, there really wasn't a ton of work to do. You can take them as far as you want with the weathering, with the highlights. You don't even have to go crazy with Nurgle because they're dirty, they're supposed to be gross, but the definition I was able to get out of them was great. The skins look great, they're gross, the sores and the boils, they all look great. So everything came out really nice on the models. Even the bases, they translate pretty well. The swampiness, the bones, the mud, it all works out really well. And this is, these are principles that I use pretty much every day to blow through armies. You just gotta do your pre-planning, you gotta have an idea in your head, and you just gotta execute it. And the tools that we have available to us as hobbyists are great now. We're able to really get a lot done quickly with tools like an airbrush, dry brushing, oils, and pigment powder, and all these things that, it's a lot of steps, but in grand scheme, it really doesn't take that long. I did this maybe in a week, 2 weeks. I didn't paint every day. I didn't have to build any of these this time, which helps. So all I did was had to paint, and I really ripped through these. I have a ton of raw footage of this. If anybody wants, just let me know. I can put it up somewhere, but I filmed a lot of footage for this. But I hope you liked the video. If you do, let me know. I'll probably do some more. I have some more armies coming up, so I'll probably do another one of these before I go into some more creative freestanding model stuff. But yeah, catch you guys next time. Thank you.